That album is what made me a fan.
So that's the album that made you a fan of Mariah Carey.
That is the album that made me a fan of the Queen Mariah fucking Carey. Yes, it is.
Uh,
Everything, every single song, every song that was played in the movie, I, I just fell in love.
I enjoyed the movie. I remember she got a lot of like not shit, but like negative feedback towards that movie,
No,
and
you said it right. She got a lot of shit.
okay, yeah. So I just remember my brain's really foggy when it comes to remembering shit. But
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say like because in her book, and I brought it out just so I could like, because we're talking about glitter, but in her book she actually mentions that there were critics who actually ended up like getting their hands on and previewed the Glitter movie almost anonymously, they unanonymously, or oh my god, I'm sorry, those drinks are really catching up. I'm sorry, they almost unanonymously panned it. So, and I kind of already knew that because I read about it, but it was like in my head as like a rumor until like she confirmed it herself into the book. It was already like panned, like even before it even came like officially hit theaters.
oh, shut up.
So reading along like even more, it just in my mind, I just feel like people just went with what was already said because nobody seems to form their own fucking opinion. Never did. So a lot of people
Yeah,
just jump on that bandwagon because, in all honesty, I mean, the movie is not bad.
it's not, yo. Me and my mom, we love that movie, and especially her. She the songs in it, especially like the soundtrack, the music. That none of it was fucking bad. So that's why I never understood the hatred towards that fucking movie and the music, especially.
I really never understood it either. But then again, I wouldn't because I'm a lamb. Like, so I
Yeah,
never would have understood it. But
I was gonna say like just when Loverboy came out, it was doing pretty well. Like I saw it on TV quite a bit. I heard it on the radio quite a bit. So it was received really well. And then the single came out first, right? And then the movie and shit. Or did the movie
um
come out first?
so oh my god, you know what? I actually don't even know. I know as I watched the movie first and then
Yeah,
got like the album after.
because I remember throughout the summer of 2001, I saw Loverboy quite a bit. The music video was dope, and the what was it? Featured fucking Ludacris and Shauna.
And the Brat in 22,
And the
yeah.
Brat, yes, yeah, okay. I was like, I'm pretty sure I remember the Brat in there, yo.
So the remix is the one that became the single, and I do remember Mariah talking about like how like not even Mariah. It was this is just me talking now. Like she had set the bar like way too high for herself.
Okay.
So debuting with a number two single was considered like a flop for her.
And Loverboy was the whole start of the beef, not beef, but issue with J Lo, right?
I've honestly never really from Mariah. I know like Mariah has never said anything like that about it. I do. It's obvious that she throws a lot of shade, but
Yeah.
I think
From
that was more like the fans and the media putting that like all together.
Yeah, from my understanding, her issue wasn't even with J Lo. It was with what's his face taking
It
the
was with
music.
Tommy.
Yeah, and so that was the thing. People always made it out to be like the issue between her and J Lo, or she had an issue with J Lo, or whatever, right? But from what I heard and what I understand of the situation was that whatever the fuck his name is took her music and basically got J Lo to do pretty much the same shit just before and release it before her.
He did, yes. I believe he had called up like Irv Gotti to get, or something like that, to get like J Lo to do like that song in a hurry. I don't even know what Irv Gotti even had to do with it.
Oh yeah. The song that had Mariah and Ja Rule did a song. He had went to
You're
Irv,
right.
and then he was like, "I want a song like this," and basically he produced and wrote a song for J Lo and Ja. And that's where the I'm Real remix came, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then not only that, but then Loverboy, it had a sample originally. I can't remember the fucking sample,
That was Firecracker,
Yes. Okay.
and
There we go.
it was Firecracker, but up until the rarities came out, like 2 years, well, last year. I don't know why it seems like 2 years ago, but last year, I'm so happy she decided to go with Candy because I
Me
love
too.
anything she does. To me, is perfection. She's just like a god to me. But I feel like the Loverboy Candy version is would have definitely was the better one to go with anyway. Because the
I
original, in
agree.
my opinion, was not that great. It was great because it's Mariah Carey, but it just wasn't nowhere near the original or what we know as the original.
Yeah, in comparison, I agree. When I heard that, I was because for the longest time, we kind of like heard about this, but it was never. Well, I don't know. You said there was like a clip at some point, right? But to
Yep,
finally hear it,
the
yeah,
original trailer. Hmm.
yeah. And so to finally hear it in full is like you're so used to the fucking what we know as the original. It's kind of I prefer it, to be honest.
That's what I thought too. But then I kept playing it over and over and over again, and I'm like, no, this just wouldn't have done it.
So it kind of worked out in their favor, if you ask
I
me.
think it did because even like reading like comments from other lambs and just like fans, they definitely preferred the Candy version.
The Firecracker, whatever sample, and I'm Real was it was good. I enjoyed J-Lo's album as well. And the songs that she what's his face stole from Mariah. I would call that stealing, yo. Like so I know why she's cheese. Shit, I'd be pretty fucking pissed off too.
She works like so hard to have stuff like that done. And I'm not just saying like I know it always seems like I'm gonna be picking up for her, but again, I mean, getting to like little to no sleep, which is again into this whole glitter topic. I mean, she would literally sacrifice sleeping just to perfect shit and to do what people like or management, whatever, wanted her to do.
Mm-hmm. Now, do
I
you
don't know
think?
if you read her book, but I will say like that the number 3 part, which is called All That Glitters, is definitely very interesting.
Okay, yeah, I didn't read the book yet. I have to. Like, this is another book that I gotta read. There's quite a few books I gotta catch up on. Fuck.
So like again, like with the number 2 and everything, she spoke a little bit about it, saying how like the only other artist that she's ever seen under so much pressure to perform above and beyond their own phenomenal success was Michael Jackson.
Holy fuck.
And just basically saying that it was like her idea to make like a whole number ones album and calling it number ones. So to have a number 2 on a label was like a big deal. But really, I mean, it kind of wasn't. Some people don't even get a number 5 and they're considered a success, a legend, an icon. Everybody, those words are thrown out so loosely
Yeah.
now and freely. Like everybody is an icon when they have like one album out and not even a top 5 hit.
Just saying. So the album came out on September 11th.
It did.
And now that could have definitely affected its sales. Or did it even did it sell well?
It's still 3 million copies, over 3 million copies. Some, and this is like directly from her. Like some artists don't do that in their entire career.
Not at all. So I'm trying to understand like the shit towards that album and movie, because like back then I just remember she was almost like being laughed at.
And a lot of people thought that it was like kind of like a mock of her own life, even though like it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can probably draw like in some similarities and shit, but
yeah,
for some reason that era was just a very odd year. And like even like being older and like looking back at it now, just reading back all that stuff, is none of it makes sense to me whatsoever.
No, like the music's really fucking good. Like
it was definitely ahead of its time. I mean, what she did with that album, people didn't do till like years fucking later. Like the 80s was so heavily sampled on that album. It was It was amazing. Like there was covers on there. There was a cover, All My Life, Rick James.
I know a lot of these songs because of this album. Like I know these songs exist because of this album.
like the samples. Honestly, me too. I wouldn't have heard them like any other way.
Yeah, like just knowing that these looking into it, and like these are songs that were done previously by other people, right? And I think it was so well done, and the producers on it, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, DJ
Amazing
Clue.
group of producers. DJ, I
Yeah.
love DJ Clue. Oh my god. And then she had Big Jim, right? Was on there as well. God bless him. God rest his soul.
Yeah, she had quite a. I'm seeing the names here. Like I never actually like really.
Jamaica, I believe, produced on there as well.
Fuck.
And these are like all people that I wouldn't have even known existed if it wasn't for Mariah Carey. Like I wouldn't have a clue who any of them are.
And then what was it, in 2017, or wasn't that long ago that the album kind of like resurfaced? People started to appreciate it.
So it was in 2018. Sorry. And I don't know if it was never not appreciated. I just think I think it just took a lot of people to like talk about it to get it, because I remember it randomly started trending.
Yeah.
Just for glitter, and then it got out of hand in like a good way, and it ended up getting back to Mariah Carey and Mariah herself. Sorry. And it just, I don't know, it blew up. Like it was amazing to finally, because I went to the Caution tour, so it. I don't want to cry, but like it was amazing to finally hear Lover Boy and Never Too Far.
She never performed any of the glitter stuff, did she?
Never.
Fuck.
Absolutely not. So at that, like during that like segment, everyone kept wanting me to like do a live while I was there, and I really didn't want to, because I'm like, I really believe that if you're going to like a concert, like in a like, I don't know, I can use myself with Mariah Carey for an example. Like, if you love that artist that much, leave your fucking phone in your pocket. Like, you're there looking at it in real life, experiencing it in real life. You don't need to record it on your phone. Why are you watching it through your phone? I don't get that shit, and it really irritates me.
I agree. There's times I went to a concert and I was too much in my phone, and then like later on, I'm like, fuck. I fucking regretted it, yeah.
I've seen her like twice since I've been like since I've like been old enough to like have a phone and everything, and I just like, I've recorded it like both of the times, but like I didn't even look in the phone, so half the time the camera wasn't even on her because I didn't give a fuck. Yeah. But I do know that there was like a couple of people that wanted me to record like my reaction, because I obviously was talking about how she was going to be incorporating some glitter songs in there, and yeah, I had lost my voice at that point. Like, I remember coming home that night, hardly being able to like talk from all the screaming and shitty singing that I was doing. It was just so amazing.
But I was one of those people. I wanted to see your reaction when she got on stage, and because we know how much you love Mariah Carey, so it's those moments are special when you kind of see someone that made such an impact in your life, and your appreciation for it, type of thing, goes far.
I mean, I would have loved it regardless, because it's Mariah, but the glitter songs definitely made it a night to never fucking forget. I'll say that.
But yeah, especially for the fact she never performed any of those songs before.
And also, again, like, I just can't believe like 20 years. Like, I don't even like the fact that I'm old enough to remember 20 years ago. And unfortunately, I kind of am.
It's crazy. Like, yeah, 20 years. I never realized how many albums came out 20 years ago that were like really fucking like game changers and really made an impact in people's lives.
Yeah, there was like quite a few. I know like another artist that I really love and just absolutely adore, Joya. I don't really think you would know her. A lot of people don't, unfortunately, but she has like a really good album that I would definitely say helped my life a lot, coming on 20 years on September 25th.
Doesn't that suck when an album means so much to you, helps you so much in life, and yet it didn't get the recognition that it deserved?
It really didn't. And just going back to glitter, like at that time, it just really didn't get anything that it deserved.
No, not at all.
And
no.
I really do feel like Lover, I don't know, I feel like I do believe like some rumors that are floating around the internet that there were things done to stop certain singles from going number one, and I do believe it was done with her.
Yeah, I believe there's people behind scenes that definitely, because it doesn't make sense to me, man. There was nothing wrong with that fucking album. There was nothing wrong with that movie. Yeah, it was a little fucking like, what's the word? I want to say not campy, but like it was a fun, just a fun movie just to watch and kind of get away from reality, yo. And the music was really fucking good.
I agree.
Her acting's not bad. It was fine. I didn't understand the backlash to Mariah Carey all of a sudden.
And well, I mean, a lot of it really caused her, like, I think, like, the stress and the anxiety and everything, along with the, like, getting no rest and everything, really contributed to her, like, what did she have again? I know people were saying it was like a nervous breakdown, but it actually wasn't. It was just dehydration.
She's probably just fucking exhausted, yo. Like
exhaustion, dehydration. I don't even know why I said that again. It has to be the one. Exhaustion.
Oh fuck.
Because she definitely didn't have like a nervous breakdown. That was a bit dramatic. And I have like a few magazines with like them articles in, and they're just so over the top. It's like laughable in 2021. It's so laughable.
I remember that even continuing on into her following album. Which one was it?
Oh, you want to get into like Charm Bracelet? We can get into Charm Bracelet. Again, over 3 million copies sold. Considered a flop, but over 3 million copies sold. The singles didn't reach that high.
Okay, wait. So this album was considered a flop.
It was considered a flop, but I don't really. If you're like talking to like a lamb, I don't really think any of them are going to give a shit, because I know for me, I don't really care if she got another number one. I don't even. I wouldn't even care if she had any.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that album definitely didn't get the recognition that it deserved either. And there were a lot of good songs on there. Bad single choices, if you ask me.
What were the singles?
Well, the first single was "Through the Rain." Like, who the fuck releases a song like "Through the fucking Rain"? It's a beautiful song. That song.
I remember that being everywhere. Like I remember on BET a lot.
I don't remember it being anywhere.
I remember it being played on BET a lot, and
I remember "Boy" being played on BET a lot.
I mean, it was so much to the point, that one too, but it was so much to the point that even Mad TV made a little fucking skit out of "Through the Rain." So.
And I'm not like putting it down, because it's actually the song that helped me a lot with my mother's passing. Mm-hmm. And just to touch on for a brief moment, even when my father passed, I went back to that album to get a song just to help me through, so that album always have a special place in my heart now forever. And "Through the Rain" and "My Saving Grace" are my two favorites from that album. But again, "Through the Rain" is definitely not a first single choice. And then to follow it up with "Boy" and then bringing on the heartbreak, I mean, a mess. When there was like so many better choices, like "You Had Your Chance." She had a track on there with Jay-Z and Freeway. I think it's called "You Got Me."
Oh fuck.
That would have been those songs would have definitely been a much better choice to release as first singles rather than "Through the Rain."
Yeah, I never actually listened to that album. I just remember those two songs, "Through the Rain" and the "Boy" one. But perhaps that was chosen as a single because of Cameron's single, right? Obviously, it was around the same time.
"Boy" is a good song for like a single, but talking about "Through the Rain," not for a first single. Like, I would have did "Boy" as the first single, "Boy I Need You," and then maybe have "Through the Rain" as like the third single, but. I don't know. I remember her saying that it was just bad single choices for that album.
Yeah, music was kind of in a weird place too in 2002. Like, it was good. There was a lot of good music, but it's just there was like this transition happening, and it was a change. And it's like by 2003, things just became a lot more urban, like a lot more. Like, pop was barely pop.
So then that just doesn't make any sense because Charm Bracelet has so many hip hop and R&B just smashes on there
That's
that
fucked up.
again, no sense was made for that at all. No, I do know like in 2003 there was like a reissue of Charm Bracelet that had I Know What You Want as a bonus track on there. I even thought like that would have been like a really great song to have on like her own album as well as like the Busta Rhymes album.
Fuck. Labels always fuck up with the single choices, like all the fucking time. All the time. Was she ever dropped by another label other than Virgin Records for this one album, Glitter?
No.
Okay, because I never knew this. When I read this on Wikipedia, I was like I'm shocked because it's fucking Mariah Carey. You know what I mean?
Is that
And
what
then,
like? Is that what is said? Because I never really paid much attention to that. I just know her. I just know that like she left the label. I didn't know whether she got dropped or left on her own. I know she got paid out.
Yeah, it says right here, Glitter was viewed as a commercial and critical failure, leading to Virgin Records canceling Carey's $100 million 5-album contract and dropping her from the label.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, she was like she bought out of her something like that. I knew because I don't know. There's just so much that I've read about like that whole situation. Sometimes like I just get confused when talking about it. And I just talked about it like a couple of weeks ago on another friend's podcast for the 20th anniversary coming up. And one of the things like that we touched on was the lack of promotion also that it got. Like the promotion for that album wasn't great either. And they did do like I don't know if it would be considered good now, or back then I mean, but like they dropped the price of Loverboy to like 99 cents.
Okay.
Which made like see I don't know what it was like buying music back then because everything that I bought was physical, and that's what I'm about to like go on right now. Like I don't know what that was all about, but I do know like the Loverboy like the actual Loverboy CD singles. I read articles about people who worked at music stores like HMV, Sam the Record Man. There was like a couple of other places in the States too that were saying that they couldn't like Loverboy wouldn't stay on the shelf.
It's fucked. And then the album was released on September 11th, and then obviously that day.
On 9/11, actually, if you like, okay, so if you were to go on Google and like, it's not a pretty site to like look at, but there's pictures on there of the Twin Towers burning, and you can actually see like a promotional poster of the Glitter album.
Yeah, I see that right now. That's fucked, huh?
So it did get some promo, but to blame it all on 9/11, I think is just silliness because there was another album. It was fabulous. What is this album called? It came out on that same day, and it did really well. And it was his first album, and it like did really fucking amazing.
Fuck, huh? I didn't know that. I guess you can't use 9/11 as an excuse then.
No, I never do. Like even when it comes up in like another like a conversation like that I'm having with somebody about Mariah Carey in general, that's just not an excuse. Like it's cute that people tried to like use it as one, but I really don't think that had a big deal to do with it, even though of course it had something to do with it. But anyway people could to find a way to have an issue with that album and movie, they did. And they used it, but more about the album because the album is what I love the most. I love the movie too. Don't get me wrong; it's my favorite movie. One of my favorite. Well, no, I'm gonna say no. Wise Girl is actually my favorite movie, but it's one of them. But the album just has a little bit more of a special place in my heart because it's what made me fall in love with it. Like I never heard anybody in my life with a voice like that, with the ability to. I was only going on 8 years old. I was literally like just going on 8 years old at the time of when I first discovered her. So something about I don't know, that album just has something that made me feel that makes you in general, like anybody in general, just feel good. Like if you're not, even if you weren't talking to me, you could be talking to any other like Mariah Carey, Lamb fan, whatever you want to call them. The more than likely will tell you the same thing. It just makes you feel good.
Yeah, it's a very happy vibe to it.
it was so ahead of its time, because like you hear albums even up, like even now you hear albums that's like they're even going back further than the 80s now to sample, like they're going back to like, I'm talking like Donna Summer, and I fucking love her too, but I mean like they're even trashing her shit, because I don't really, when people touch Mariah Carey, Kylie Minogue, or Donna Summer songs, I have a kind of a problem with, but whatever. But I mean like they're even going back further than that now, and it's like just flying right up the charts. So I definitely feel like Glitter was way ahead of its time. And it definitely didn't fit in with any other album released in 2001. And I would definitely say, and I'm brave enough to say that I feel like that was definitely the best album released in 2001. And I love Aaliyah with all my heart. I've loved her since I've been a little girl, but I don't know. I feel Glitter is just my heart.
Yeah, it just did something to you. We all have that one album where it just it takes us to a very special place, especially when that's the first album that brings you to this artist. It just like gravitates you towards this person, and you just become almost like obsessed.
No, that didn't happen until like the Emancipation of Mimi. That's when I became like obsessed.
That album, y'all, that was a
fuck the album. Well, the album, yes, but I mean like the first single released is what got me.
That was such a good era. That was a good fucking time. She changed R&B with that album.
She did. I wish people would have paid like more attention to Glitter, because she definitely would have did something with that too.
Yeah, but like you said, it was ahead of its time, and with everything else that was going on at the time, like musically in hip hop and R&B, it didn't get its chance. If it was given the proper chance and the right promotion and stuff, it would have definitely, like, they could have made that fit in with this time.
And I mean, like, she had like really big names at the time on this album. You know, Debrat, Ludacris, Nate Dogg, Ja Rule. Oh my God, list goes on. Mystical was even on the fucking album, and you know we had that song Danger that was like a big fucking hit too back like in 2001 with Nivea on it.
But at least it got its justice years later.
Oh my God, it fucking deserved it. I'm very what is the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I'm never like. I just wasn't happy with it. Like, even though I just wasn't. Like, I felt like, I guess ungrateful is the word I'm looking for. Because I feel like it was, like, why, like, it's great that it happened, but why now? Like, there have been so many of us telling all of you how great it was to begin with. And then all of us, all of a sudden, it took up until 2018 to, like, finally get acknowledged of the art that it is.
Yeah, it's sad that it takes so long, but I mean, it's better late than never, right? At least it got its moment that it deserved. How long was it? It's been 20 years now, so it was just a few years ago. So just imagine an album from that time. And wasn't she like one of the first few to have an album that was so many years old to kind of make a comeback?
I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know from like all the artists that I like, which is a lot, yes, she was.
Yeah, because then I started seeing like, you know, Little Kim and stuff like that, and all these albums that were once really big, they started making a comeback again too. But the fact that Glitter got its chance again.
Since you brought that up, that's also something that never set well with me. Like, everybody always takes from her. You know, I love to sing, often imitate it, never duplicate it, because you know what, that is so fucking true. The Lambs came out with this thing, and I'm saying the Lambs, I had no part in it because I really wasn't using that hashtag at all. I had no part in it because Glitter was just always, what is it, justified to me. Like, it was just always perfect. So I didn't really care to use it. But since then, yes, Lil' Kim fans have been using it. Christina Aguilera fans have been doing it for Bionic.
Well, probably because they saw it work with Mariah Carey, so they're like,
and like all the other fan bases just had to jump on that too and take it. But I honestly, it was the Glitter album that started that whole thing.
That trend of like, yeah, justice for, yeah,
like old fucking albums. But since you had said something about Lil' Kim, what all of her albums were big.
Yeah. She never had really like I mean, that's what I meant in comparison. Like, Glitter didn't get its moment, but all these other albums that like were actually like really big, they're still like many years later, they're still making a comeback. And this was like after glitter kind of made that bounce back thing.
Yeah, again, it's like so weird that you like people even say that, because at the time it was considered her lowest selling album, and at 3 million, at three, like even when I was like younger, I couldn't understand it, because like I've just always loved music and loved learning about it, reading about like the creation process, like everything about it. So when I had found out that it was like sold 3 million copies, I still didn't understand like why it was always so like so hated on, always considered a flop. There's actually people who sold less than that, and they went on to become like huge successes. Like even like Madonna, for example.
Who do you think Mariah can go against in verses?
Nobody.
Do you agree with what Nick Cannon said about R. Kelly? Even though,
No,
like,
absolutely not. There is nobody.
I don't think they're gonna find anybody. Like, people, they were saying Mary J. Blige or like Toni Braxton and stuff, but
She'd kill every fucking buddy with her number ones alone. So there's nobody.
I don't think it's gonna happen. As much as we want it.
If it happens, I'll watch it. If it's another artist that I like, just to watch them die. But I mean, it's pointless. I know, like it's like all for fun and to like celebrate and whatever, but there is nobody she could go up against, because nobody would have a chance.
Yeah, I agree. Because she puts a lot of effort, a lot of time, and a lot of herself into her music, and I don't know, and to have that many hits.
Like, and Candy took it upon herself to like start playing songs that she wrote or produced for other people. Even if she were to do that, Mariah Carey would still have everybody else. She would just shit on everyone. So there's nobody.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, all right, Vanity. Thank you for your time, and thank you for coming to Sammy's place.
I enjoyed hanging out at your place. It was a little ghetto at times, but I enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
This fucking 6 times, yo, this thing went out. Holy shit. All right, well, I'll definitely have you back again. I love talking to you. I could talk to you all day.
I look forward to it. Have a great night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.